Hey folks, and welcome to another video. Today I have a book haul for you, and it's mainly world of books. I got some horror graphic novels, I got some horror comics, manga, but also recently I went to Amsterdam for a week and I got a couple of books in like the airport, and also some cool notepads that I got whilst I was out there. So I think I'll probably show you guys those bits first, and then we'll get on to the bulk of world of books. So starting from notepads from Amsterdam, I got this really gorgeous one. I can't remember the names of the shops and things, so I do apologise, but it is stunning. It is a girl smoking flowers, and flowers are coming out of her like face, but it's beautiful. It's got this nice kind of wood texture. That is the company, the designer of the notepad, if you're interested. And it is plain pages, so I thought this might be another one that I could keep away for drawing if I ever get back to drawing. Every now and then I do like to do a little bit of a sketch, a little bit of painting, or it could be another reading journal. The pages are quite thin though, so I'm not too sure exactly what I want it for. I don't want anything to bleed through the other side, because I do use like markers and things like that when I am doing my reading journal. There is that first notepad. I got in the Flying Tiger there, this massive bullet journal, and I popped some stickers on it already. These stickers are by Samantha Paris Illustration. She's recently reopened her shop and relaunched some items on there, and this is one of the packs. Actually, I think I've got about stickers from 2 different packs on here. She's got like a medieval one, and then this was kind of like a coffee kind of vibe one. A couple of those stickers on there, and I love that it's a massive one, because I always end up like having double page spreads that sometimes I would much rather just be one page, but I use the A5 bullet journals at the minute, so I just like the half ones, the ones that are half this size. And I can't always fit everything that I want to on the one page, so I'm hoping this will be quite a nice generous page, generous size for my reading journal in the future. I've got so many different journals, I just don't know what I want to get to next. I'm kind of glad that I get through a couple of them usually each year. Like I get through 1 and a bit, I think, or maybe even 2 and a bit, depending on how much I read and the different kind of arts I want to chuck in there and things, how creative I want to get. But yeah, so there is another one. Okay, so in terms of books, going on the way there in the airport before we actually arrived to Amsterdam, I picked this up from the W.H. Smith. This is I Fell in Love with Hope by Len Calais, and to be honest, this is kind of just like a comfort buy. I needed to have a book in my hand. I had a book in my bag, but I needed to feel grounded in some way. I was getting a bit nervous about flying, and this is one that I saw was kind of like a TikTok sensation. I think I saw it like a couple of months ago, maybe last year, and I've been wanting to read it, and I hadn't seen it in the flesh before, so I thought now's the time to get it. So it says, a group of terminally ill patients vow to live the rest of their lives to the fullest, a love that transforms and transcends. Against the unforgiving landscape of a hospital, a group of terminally ill patients embraces the joys within their reach: friendship, freedom, rebellion. Each in their own way is broken, each in their own way is stronger for it. In the midst of pain and loss, they find community, even miracles, and together they are determined to reclaim from life what illness has taken from them. But a singular heartbreak has led one to swear off love forever. The risk of experiencing another tragedy feels too great, yet in this desolate place where it seems impossible for love to make an appearance, a door opens, and so do hearts. I think like most people probably got when they read that blurb, it gave me the Fault in Our Stars kind of vibe, which I really enjoyed back when I read it like, I don't know, like 10 plus years ago. So I don't know if it's necessarily something I'd enjoy now. It might be a bit too traumatic. I don't want it to feel like it is like romanticizing trauma, you know, especially like with the characters being terminally ill. I don't want that to feel like romanticized, but I am intrigued at giving it a go. And then the books that I picked up in the W.H. Smith bookshop, which is just a bookshop for W.H. Smith, I don't know why that excites me so much, are 2 books, and these felt nice. Like, these don't feel like the books you get in the UK. They're floppy, and they have like this texture to them. It's not gritty, but it's not, I don't know, like it's texture. I don't know how to describe it. And they look kind of larger too. Like all the books seem to be quite tall, but not like overly tall. They're probably the same size now looking at them in other books, but they just looked different on the shelf, you know. So the first one I got there is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have been wanting to read from this author. To be honest, the original H.G. Wells book is on my never-ending classics TBR, so I haven't actually got to it yet, but I thought this could be an interesting follow-up. So this is a reimagining of the island of Dr. Moreau, set against a backdrop of 19th century Mexico. Carlotta Moreau, a young woman growing up on a remote and luxuriant estate safe from the conflicts and strife of the Yucatan Peninsula, the only daughter of a researcher who is either a genius or a madman. Montgomery Lawton, a melancholic overseer with a tragic past and a propensity for alcohol. An outcast who assists Coletta's father with his experiments, which are financed by the Lizaldes, owners of magnificent haciendas and plentiful coffers. The hybrids, the fruits of the doctor's labour, destined to blindly obey their creator and remain in the shadows, a motley group of part human, part animal monstrosities. All of them live in a perfectly balanced and static world, which is jolted by the abrupt arrival of Eduardo Lizalde, the charming and careless son of Dr. Moreau's patron, who will unwittingly begin a dangerous chain reaction. For Moreau keeps secrets, Carlotta has questions, and in the sweltering heat of the jungle, passions may ignite. The Daughter of Dr. Moreau is both a dazzling historical novel and a daring science fiction journey. It sounds like it could be amazing. Also, this cover is stunning. I don't usually like people on the cover, but I love how they've like created this, and when I opened it, I loved this. It gives me Bridgerton vibes. I've never watched Bridgerton, but it kind of gives me Bridgerton vibes, just the aesthetic. It's absolutely stunning. So, I'm excited to see how this one goes, but I think I'd probably read the original like inspiration first. And then lastly, from the W.H. Smith bookshop, I got Psyche and Eros, a novel by Luna McNamara, who said true love is a myth. And as soon as I saw the names, I was like, oh, Greek mythology retellings. Oh, I love that. I've got like a whole collection of Greek mythology retellings, and I'm ever so slowly getting through them. It almost feels like one a year at this point, just because I so love Greek mythology, and I'm so frightened that I'm not going to get on with any of the retellings, especially now after reading the Silence of the Girls and the sequel to that. I just was like, no. So now I'm even more hesitant to actually reading the ones I own, but I need to just push through it and get over that feeling, because I'm sure there are ones that I'm absolutely going to fall in love with. I love that on the back there's some blurbs by authors that I have their books. I've heard of them and want to read from them, or have read from them. So yeah, I'm really excited. It sounds like some really awesome authors here are bigging this one up. It's also got deckled edges, which I personally love. I know deckled edges gets a lot of love and hate, but I'm a lover of them, I must admit. They just feel so luxurious. So, has the god of love finally met his match? In this utterly transporting reimagining of Greek mythology, the god of desire is cursed to fall for a spirited young mortal woman, but if she looks upon his face, they will be parted forever. An epic adventure and love story for the ages, sure to satisfy fans of Madeline Miller and V.E. Schwab. A prophecy claims that Psyche, princess of Mycenae, will defeat a monster feared even by the gods. Rebelling against her society's expectations for women, Psyche spends her youth mastering blade and bow, preparing to meet her destiny. When Psyche angers the love goddess Aphrodite, she sends Eros, god of desire, to deliver a cruel curse. After eons watching humanity twist his gifts, the last thing Eros wants is to become involved in the chaos of the mortal world. But when he pricks himself with the arrow intended for Psyche, Eros finds himself doomed to yearn for a woman who will be torn from him the moment their eyes meet. Thrown together by fate, headstrong Psyche and world-weary Eros will face challenges greater than they could ever have imagined. And as the Trojan War begins and divine powers try to keep them apart, the pair must determine if the curse could become something more before it's too late. I am super excited for this one. I didn't even know it was coming out or anything like that. I hadn't heard of it beforehand, but I really hope I love it. So now that we've got the Amsterdam holiday kind of books out of the way, I shall get on to the books that I bought from World of Books, which is kind of like the theme of this video, really. So I bought 2 volumes of Something is Killing the Children. I recently read volume 1 and absolutely loved it. I think I read it last month and I was really intrigued and trying more. I ended up reading the author's other comic series that I had, well, the first volume from that series, which is The Nice House on the Lake, and I really enjoyed that one too. So I ended up getting volume 2 of Something is Killing the Children, and this one I read whilst I was in Amsterdam as well, so it's a bit used. You can tell it's had a little bit of love to it whilst I was on the flight and at the hotel and stuff. And yeah, I really enjoyed how this continued on the story. Basically, we're set in this Earth, and there are monsters, quite literal, horrifying, frightening monsters that only children can see. So it's like literally what goes bump in the night, it's a real thing in this world, and there are some adults that are able to see, and they are the monster hunters, and this main character that we follow is one of those. So she comes into this town where there's been a sudden rise in missing children turning up like dismembered and just not nicely dead. I don't think dead can be any other way but not nicely, but there's that. And she comes to town to stop the monsters. It gets all twisted up, and people, governmental, are trying to stop her because they're like, are you the ones killing them? Yada yada yada. And the plot kind of takes off from there. But yeah, I'd really recommend it so far. I haven't read 2 volumes. I think it's got like 6 or maybe 8 volumes altogether. Like, it's a completed series, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I'm definitely going to continue on. And with that, I got volume 4. I couldn't find volume 3 on the site, so I'll have to see if I can find that used elsewhere. But this is the cover art for that one, and I love at the back of these they have all the individual, like, variant individual issue art as well, which is super cool to look through. And then they've got some concept art pieces in there too, which is always fun to have a flick through as well. But yeah, this is volume 4 of Something is Killing the Children. So the next one I kind of just want to whiz through because it's a little bit of a downer, but it got rectified. Yeah, pretty much all the books that I purchased through Worlds of Books were either brand new or like new, and these 2 came. So they are 2 editions of this manga, and they came like new, and I don't, tell me if it's just me, but I wasn't impressed. So first of all, volume 5 of Assassination Classroom is fine in the front, but it was all like bent and mashed up, like the pages were all creased. I don't know if that was just in delivery, but the way they were set, it was kind of like, no, it's been like that a long time. It seemed quite set in its grooves, and there was some ever so slight yellowing on this one. I was mainly like disappointed in how fucked up the ends are, really. And then volume 6 was just like kind of grim. There's all these stains on it. It's really much yellowed. I mean, if I'd have bought them as Satisfactory, would have been fine, but I purchased them as like new, and these aren't like new conditions, and I hate complaining, like it makes me feel ill, but I was like, no, I'm not having that. I'm sorry, I don't even want to open this one because I don't know what those stains are. So yeah, I don't know what I want to do with these. I feel bad donating them because, like, I mean, as I said, if it came like this, I'd be grossed out a bit and like, oh, that's annoying, but I paid for a satisfactory, well-used copy. But I also don't want to do that to someone else and just donate them to like a charity or something, but I also feel bad chucking books in the bin. So I don't know what to do with these. I think I'll just donate them somewhere, and someone can decide what they want to do if they want this condition, basically, seeing it, because you can't see it on World of Books. That's the one thing that irritates me. You can select like new, brand new, all that, but it just has like the stock photo up there. And I think it's with World of Books, sometimes it's not even the cover that you get, but so far I think I've been lucky and I've got exactly the cover that I've wanted. I think they might have improved it over the years, but generally I love World of Books, but this time it wasn't it, so I'm gonna put those to the side. And they sent out replacements like immediately after. They did take a little while to reply. I sent them a message, I think it was like it must have been the Sunday, or no, it must have been the Friday. I think they arrived on the Friday before I went away, and I was going away the following Monday, and I said, oh, that if you want me to return them in return for a replacement, please just note that I won't be back until like the following weekend, sort of thing. And they didn't reply back until the following Friday, so I mean, I don't know, but when they did, they got that replacement out quick. It was like within like maybe 2 days or so. So moving swiftly on, you'll see the replacements as I go through these. So volume 5 of Assassination Classroom by UC Matsui. These are so funny, they're so wacky and crazy. And do you know what, in Amsterdam I went to a shop and I found a t-shirt with the teacher on the front and on the back, and I also found like this cool figure, and I wish I could have bought the figure, but I didn't have enough money. I wasn't willing to buy it, to be honest, and I had to think about like luggage space and carrying it back and all that, but it was so cool. I did take a picture. I don't know if I've still got it somewhere. If I can be bothered to look through my phone and I'll add it to this, I shall. But anyway, so we've got volume 5, and it's basically a series where this alien has blown up the moon, and he comes to Earth to a particular school, and he's like, right, you have how many days, I can't remember, to stop me and kill me before I do to you what I did to the moon. Let's pretend that it makes sense that the Earth is still doing its thing with its moon like fucked up, right? But the point is, the students all have to try and successfully kill this alien. And the interesting thing is the alien then takes it upon himself to teach everything he knows to the students to kill him effectively and become all these amazing assassins. It's such a weird and wacky story, but I've been loving it. So there's volume 5, volume 6. I love all these covers, they're so funky. Much better condition, these look literally brand new. Like, I can't complain about this. Let me show you the other one. Brand new, they don't look like they've been read, to be honest, so that made me happy. After I was a little bit of a brat. No, I wasn't a brat, I was just like, I wouldn't say, I would disagree that this is like new. And then I showed them pictures. Anyway, volume 7, I love this bright red cover, like wow, that is angry. And I've got volume 8. There we go. So another couple of volumes to blitz through, which I'm looking forward to. Okay, and the last 4 books are pretty much, yeah, heavy on the horror and focuses mainly on one author after this book. So this one I had seen, but I didn't really know much about, and so I was excited to see it on the World of Books page. This is Adam L.G. Neville's Cunning Folk. It looks like this, and it kind of looks like an indie publish. It's got that texture, you know, where they've like been Amazon published. It kind of feels nice and soft and like kind of rubbery. So it says it's a folk horror from the author of No One Gets Out Alive and The Ritual, and this is like some scary hog ready to devour your souls. Right, on the back it says, no home is heaven with hell next door. Money's tight and their new home is a fixer-upper. Deep in rural southwest England, with an ancient wood at the front of their garden, Tom and his family are miles from anywhere and anyone familiar. His wife Fiona was never convinced that buying the money pit at auction was a good idea, not least because the previous owner committed suicide, though no one can explain why. Within days of crossing the threshold, when hostilities break out with the elderly couple next door, Tom's dreams of future contentment are threatened by an escalating tit-for-tat campaign of petty damage and disruption. Increasingly isolated and tormented, Tom risks losing his home, everyone dear to him, and his mind. Because surely only the mad would suspect that the oddballs across the hedgerow command unearthly powers, a malicious magic even older than the eerie wood and the strange barrow therein. A hallowed realm from where he suspects his neighbours draw a hideous power. They say it is a compelling folk horror story of deadly rivalry and the oldest magic from the 4 times winner of the August Derleth Award for Best Horror Novel. I'm really excited to get to that one. And then the last books I got, these are chunkers. These are really thick because they're like big, full-on text, like, do you know what I mean? They look like textbooks with illustrations. These are all from Brom, and I have been wanting to read from Brom for the longest time. I have, oh my god, I've been wanting to read since I saw, let me show you the first one, The Child Thief. I remember laying my eyes on this on Goodreads years ago. I think it might have been when I first created my Goodreads account, and I was like, wow, what's that? A Dark Peter Pan retelling? I want that. And then I just never ended up looking for a copy. I think it's because most of my buying, I feel, is physically, like in shops, and I've just never come across a physical copy of Brom. I don't think I have, and if I have, it's been very rare and very expensive that that situation has happened, and I've just not justified the price. But these I got for, they were like new, no, they were new. I think maybe one was like new and the rest were new in terms of condition and world of books, but they weren't bad price at all. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but they were reasonable to me. So anyway, we have The Child Thief, a novel, and basically Brom is a writer and artist, so the artwork in here is by him, I believe. Let me just get you one. So here's an illustration. Pretty sure he created this artwork as well. So let me open the flap and tell you what it's about. The Child Thief. 14-year-old Nick would have been murdered by the drug dealers preying on his family had Peter not saved him. Now the irresistibly charismatic wild boy wants Nick to follow him to a secret place of great adventure where magic is alive and you never grow old. Even though he is wary of Nick's crazy talk of fairies and monsters. Even though he's wary of Peter's crazy talk of fairies and monsters, Nick agrees. After all, New York City is no longer safe for him, and what more could he possibly lose? There is always more to lose. Accompanying Peter to a grey and ravished island that was once a lush, enchanted paradise, Nick finds himself unwittingly recruited for a war that he has raged for centuries, one where he must learn to fight or die among the devils, Peter's savage tribe of lost and stolen children. There, Peter's dark past is revealed. Left to wolves as an infant, despised and hunted, Peter moves restlessly between the worlds of fairy and man. The Child Thief is a leader of bloodthirsty children, a brave friend, and a creature driven to do whatever he must to stop the flesh eaters and save the last wild magic in this dying land. It sounds absolutely magical. Dark fairy tale, gothic retelling. I'm here for it. The next book I discovered by this author, and I've had on my wish list for quite some time, is Krampus the Yule Lord. I think this is the first time I'd heard of Krampus, and then for a while I was really obsessed in my research about the lore behind Krampus, who's basically, in very brief terms, like the antithesis of Santa Claus. He's like the dark entity that goes around giving coal to the naughty children and is more demonic, and I think he eats them. There's a lot into that lore, and I got a bit obsessed into it a little bit at one point. But yes, this has always been in the back of my mind as something I've been wanting to get to, and I'm so glad to have a copy in my hand. And I think this is also kind of deckled. I'm going to try and show you a creepy picture. I might not be able to find a creepy picture, but here's a picture, an illustration there. One Christmas Eve, in a small hollow in Boone Country, West Virginia, struggling songwriter Jesse Walker witnesses a strange spectacle. 7 devilish figures chasing a man in a red suit toward a sleigh and 8 reindeer. When the reindeer leap skyward, taking the sleigh, devilmen, and Santa into the clouds, screams follow. Moments later, a large sack plummets back to earth, a magical sack that thrusts the down-on-his-luck singer into the clutches of the terrifying Yule Lord Krampus. But the lines between good and evil become blurred as Jesse's new master reveals many dark secrets about the cherry-cheeked Santa Claus, including how half a millennium ago the jolly old saint imprisoned Krampus and usurped his magic. Now Santa's time is running short, for the Yule Lord is determined to have his retribution and reclaim Yuletide. If Jesse can survive this ancient feud, he might have the chance to redeem himself in his family's eyes, to save his own broken dreams, and to help bring the magic of Yule to the impoverished fold of Boone Country. It sounds so good! I don't know now if I want to save this particularly for Christmas and winter time, or if I want to do more of like a summer-ween, because I'm trying to read like creepy, spooky books during summer, kind of like an unofficial summer-ween. So we'll see. I'm sure I'll make up my mind at some point, I don't know. And the last book for this haul, and the last book from Brom that I've got, is Lost Gods, which is, I don't know when this was released, but it was definitely a newer to me one that I know of, and it seems that he's only got one other work called The Plucker. So this one came out in 2016, but this was one of the latest ones, other than The Plucker now, because I never heard of that one, that I discovered from him, that I found. And I love this, it's so cool. It's like a sphinx, like a harpy. So cool. I love it, and I love that on the sides they've got like a mini, oh well, on this one anyway, this particular edition, I don't know if it's on the other ones, just this one, it's got like a miniature illustration, so when you have it out you can still see that beautiful artwork. I love that, and they're all going to look gorgeous together, because even though they're different editions, I think they're like pretty much the same size, And it looks quite funky together, I think. So anyway, back to what this one's about. Out of jail and eager to start a new life, Shep Moran and his pregnant wife Trish leave town to begin again. But an ancient evil is looming, and what seems like a safe haven may not be all it appears. Snared and murdered by a vile arcane horror, Shep quickly learns that pain and death are not unique to the living. Now the lives and very souls of his wife and unborn child are at stake. To save them, he must journey into the bowels of purgatory in search of a sacred key promised to restore the natural order of life and death. Alone, confused and damned, Chet steels himself against the unfathomable terrors awaiting him as he descends into death's Stygian blackness. In The Lost Gods, Broom's gritty and visceral prose takes us on a haunting, harrowing journey into the depths of the underworld. That sounds so exciting! Thrust into a realm of madness and chaos where ancient gods and demons battle over the dead and where cables of souls conspire to overthrow their masters, Chet plays a dangerous game, risking eternal damnation to save his family. That sounds phenomenal. I'm also just going to read a little bit about Brom because it's probably going to tell you more about him than I can. For decades, Brom has lent his distinctive vision to all facets of the creative industries, from novels and games to comics and film. His books include Krampus, the Child Thief, and the award-winning illustrated horror novels The Plucker and The Devil's Rose. Brom is currently kept in a dank cellar somewhere just outside of Seattle, Washington. I love it when authors get creative with their bio. And just before we actually end, I do believe I have a couple of books that I have digitally or audibly. Let me find those for you. I definitely just downloaded my Audible book of the month, and that one is Nightfall by Suzanne Young. And this one I'm so glad I finally managed to get because it was for Amy McCaw's YA book club, and I've definitely missed out on the weekly updates, unfortunately, but I was waiting for my credit to roll in so that I could just catch up and read it this month for her book club, so I can tune into the live because I really wanted to read this anyway. And I've missed reading with the book club. I think I only did the first one or two maybe, and then either the books weren't my interest or the books I couldn't get hold of from the library and I didn't want to like purchase them at that point in time. So this time I'm really excited it's on Audible so I can chip in with some of my thoughts there. Suzanne Young's The Nightfall. Beautiful cover. I think it's like the reimagining of The Lost Boys. I also have downloaded recently Some of the Best from Tor.com 15th anniversary edition, and this is a collection of their short stories. The cover, it's got authors like N.K. Jemisin, Lee Bardugo, and it's some of their best of the best. And I also downloaded their spring 2023 short fiction. That's how that cover looks, not that you can see the writing inside. I also signed up for the book tour for Dark Beauty by Blake Redman, and this is a thriller, so I'll talk more about that when my review goes live. And I also have another book tour that I signed up for, and this is Weep Woman Weep by Maria de Blasi, and this is the beautiful cover for that one. And again, I'll talk more about that when my tour goes live. And I believe those were both through Black Tide Publishing book tours. So that is it now. That is my book haul. Mainly World of Books, but with a little other things sprinkled in just for spice, just because. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall catch you in another video soon. Bye.